FBI informant Imad Salem met us at Ground Zero and talked to us for the first time about why he risked his life to help the U.S. stop Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman and his followers from bombing New York.
The original plan that we should blow the bomb on December, which Christmas Day, to spoil the American Christmas.
It was 1992 and Salem warned the FBI, but after he told agents he would never testify in open court and polygraphs on him were inconclusive, Salem and the FBI parted ways. But members of the terror cell again reached out to Salem, and again he went to authorities about how the terrorists were speaking in code. The Sheikh was furious that his right-hand man was actually an FBI informant, and Salem says the Sheikh later threatened him in the courtroom.
He said, "You're Satan," and of course everybody knows what they should do for the Satan. Working undercover is not an easy task, especially with people who have no mercy. The guy is bad news anywhere he is. As long as he is alive, people get killed.
FBI informant Imad Salem came out of hiding to warn about Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman and how leaders like the President of Egypt continue to press for the Sheikh's freedom, while leaders from the Persian Gulf nation of Qatar have requested the Sheikh be transferred out of the U.S.
When we gonna wake up and smell the coffee? This man is dangerous in prison. What will happen when he's out of prison? If we today release him, or like the State Department say, transfer him, is he gonna be grateful to us? Absolutely not. He will kill Americans. He will kill anybody who will dispute what he say with a fatwa.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm following Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman very closely. And sadly, for the first time since 20 years ago, he was taken out of prison, put in a hospital to prepare for his, what they call it, transfer. At the beginning, the State Department said, "Oh, we're going to release him." And then the media went crazy. "You cannot release the guy, has American blood on his hand." "Oh, well, we will transfer him." And then, this is ridiculous.
Shouldn't he have just been executed?
Despite that it would be regarded cruel and unusual punishment executing a blind man, for a truth seeker or independent journalist, if Alex Jones ever had any credibility from the start to be labeled as one, who has spent nearly 2 decades blaming the 1993 bombing on the FBI, self-proclaiming it to be the concern which initiated his platform, it would be extremely clumsy and foolish, if not crass, to suggest capital punishment on the central suspect of the unresolved conspiracy, which would only be self-obstruction to puzzle the rest of the unsolved crime. And as Salem's appearance on the Alex Jones show, the blind Sheikh ended up passing away 2 years later in February of 2017. His body was transported to Egypt for his funeral. But it's still important to underline here how the blind Sheikh's imprisonment and the attempt to free him or transfer has been used as geopolitical bargaining chips, even with other terrorist attacks and kidnappings that have been carried out, as a means to free Abdel Rahman. Even though by this point in the presentation, the blind Sheikh doesn't play out to be the Trade Center nor landmark plot, mastermind, ringleader, or central figure. But for Salem, he also uses the blind Sheikh's incarceration for his own agenda and cover.
I will bet you something here. We have 2 or a year and 3/4 left for Mr. Burak. He will release the Sheikh before he leave office to shut the Muslim Brotherhood forever. And you can quote me on that.
Target.
And the Sheikh was convicted. He went to jail for many years. He just died this year. How does that make you feel? And is the world, do you think that we're going to enter a more peaceful time, or are there other people like the Sheikh who have already taken his place?
On the contrary, I think we are in more dangerous before the blind Sheikh passed away, because a week before he passed away, he wrote his last will and testament, and he ordered his followers to revenge for him, quote unquote, violent revenge. The blind Sheikh had followers on the American streets today. They are waiting for the opportunity to have a violent revenge for his death.
I guess whatever options that may have been put forth in either freeing or moving the blind Sheikh ultimately didn't matter, and bringing any clarity to either potential circumstance of freeing the blind sheikh, despite the geopolitical vulnerability and dangers put forth on Americans at home and abroad, wasn't in Salem's interest. But he certainly sounds like a decisive fearmonger.
This is a crucial point. It was not a black flag operation. It's not a false operation. It's a real crazy idiots, fanatics who wanted to commit jihad under the leadership of
Sure. I want to be clear and not split hairs here, Colonel.
Of course, Alex Jones is not interested in bringing any clarity either as to what really happened, marginalizing sensitive details as just merely splitting hairs, when he also resists the opportunity of challenging Salem, since the subject of 1993 he self-proclaims in his Shock Jock Radio Personality Foundation, and as a result has shaped much of his worldview, as well as his captivated audience. And even though he isn't entirely a reliable source at this point, instead of challenging Ahmad, Jones just follows up with his deficient and loose explanation of a false flag, which is actually to the contrary as to who pulled off the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. As yet, Salem has clearly indicated it's not a government false flag, which for himself being at the center to enable that accusation, he's right.
So I wouldn't throw the blame on the FBI, period. The listeners and you would like to understand, because I was there. I walk the walk and I talk the talk, and I am not afraid of nobody. If I am afraid, I wouldn't go undercover with assassins and evildoers.
So nearly a year later, on the cusp of Jones's historical interview with Donald Trump, Ahmad has a second interview with Jones on November 19, 2015, where now Jones has slightly changed or phrased his overall narrative of what the 1993 World Trade Center bombing was.
He was there, he tried to stop it, and was ordered to stand down. That's even been in the New York Times.
Well, Alex, unfortunately, if we allow this group of Sunni Wahhabist people to enter into our land, there is no doubt in my mind that it will happen again. We already got attacked in 1993 by the same group. However, different name, it's all the same ideology. But again, I don't know if our government wanted that to happen again, to start to take our liberty out of our hand more and more, and put more restriction on the media, and then they will say, oops, it happened again, and they let these people to start to hurt the American people, to give them a reason to start to monitor more and to take our liberty out of our hands. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am afraid that if they allow these people to walk in, that's going to be a false flag operation to let them bomb America. And then they say, oops, they bomb America. We have to monitor America more and take your guns and take your liberty and take even the mainstream media today start to be controlled by the government.
Yeah, sure, as if allowing groups of Sunni Wahhabists to come in and bomb America didn't happen before 2001 already, but now it's only likely to happen. Right.